Big week ahead. Leave on Wednesday to play a really talented and explosive Jacksonville State team. Looking forward to our preparation this week. Was pleased with our players' response on Saturday. Thought we came out with a lot of energy. Really shared the ball offensively. Shot the ball well from three, but I thought we created higher percentage shots for our team, and we were able to take advantage of that. Don't have much of an update on Damon Robinson's status. Obviously, there's a great deal of concern with the knee injury he suffered in Saturday night's first half. He saw our team doctor this morning. We'll have his MRI today and hope to get results back here in the near future so we know his status moving forward with the rest of the season.
In terms of Damon, I guess even in the short term, even best case scenario, is he not playing this week? I mean, even if everything's okay, or is even that premature?
Yeah, I really don't know, Jeff. It'll all depend on what shows up here, if anything, on X-rays and MRIs today. We'll remain cautiously optimistic, but we'll have to just wait and see what kind of report we get from the doctors.
And I guess not to put the cart in front of the horse here, but at the same time, you have dealt with this before. You've had guys who have gotten hurt mid-year, and you guys kind of have to adjust on the fly. What's the most important part? If the news is what everybody is fearing, what's the most important part for you and your guys moving forward to next man up? Let's roll.
Right. Well, clearly, if we were to get bad news and not have Damon, whether it's short term or however long moving forward, your concern right away is all the, or I should say from our team standpoint, there are a lot of things that he brings to our program that would be missing. His ability to defend the paint. He's got great basketball IQ on the offensive end of the floor. And you can go on down the list of the things he does for our team. So, certainly it would be other guys would have to step forward in our front court and carry some of that load, both defensively and then offensively from an execution standpoint. I said it after the game, injuries, it's the worst part of coaching. I mean, you have to go out on the floor and see a player hurt like that. It's just rips your heart out. But the season carries on. We'll have to move forward with great energy, focus, togetherness, all the same things we try to preach on a daily basis to try to make up for Damon's absence if that so ends up being the case.
Young man who I don't know that we've talked at all about this year is Nick McMahon, and he was a kid that seemed to have earned your trust from the very beginning of the year. You get some spot minutes in the first half, seemingly all the time, and potential that you may need to lean on him a lot more here in the coming weeks. What has impressed you most about him, just from the transition into the college game and what you've seen out of him this year?
Well, I think, Jeff, his motor, I think he plays with great intensity. He's very physical. I think he brings a toughness to our team. I think as he's learned our offensive system, he's become a great screener. If you go back and look at some of the open threes Tevin got on Saturday night, a lot of them were a product of tremendous screens that Nick set to free him up. So he's about the team. He's committed to getting better, and just want him to continue pushing forward here as we go down the home stretch.
When you go back and look at that first Jacksonville game, what's kind of the big takeaway that you're going to try to apply to this week?
Well, if you look back on that game, Jalen Finch really dominated the game at the point guard position, Jeff. We had a hard time keeping him out of the paint. He was able to score the ball off their ball screens. He was able to create for others. If memory serves, he was close to a triple-double in the game. I think their bigs' ability to shoot the ball from the three-point line hurt us in the first half of that game. But it was a high-level offensive game. But we weren't able to generate enough defensive stops to win that one on our home floor.
What does it say to you? I was looking through some numbers, and you have 3 of the all-time shot blocking leaders in program history on your roster this year, and one of them, Devin Brown. I guess, what does that say to you? And then is it just he's able to – not many guards on that top 25 list. Is it just his length? What makes him such a good shot blocker?
I'd say a combination of several things, Jeff. Number one, I think he plays so hard. He makes multiple effort plays. He flies around at the defensive end of the floor. He has a great basketball IQ, so he has good understanding of what the other team's trying to do on the offensive end. Clearly, a lot of his blocks come from the weak side, and so I think he has good anticipation skills on the defensive end of the floor. That's why he leads us in steals. I think that's why he's second on our team in defensive rebounding. He's really a great two-way player.
I know you're always about what's right in front of you. You've kind of let some things leak over the years that I know you guys do scoreboard watch a little bit. Now that you're in this final week, is a discussion point at all? Is it just need to go out and win as many games as we can and see where the cards fall?
I think that has to be the mindset for our team, is just to stay focused on the next game, which is a really good Jacksonville State team on Thursday. Going right along with that is continuing to get better. I'm a big believer in that you keep working until the final buzzer goes off to improve your team individually and then collectively as a group. Obviously, we weren't where we wanted to be when we started 1-4, and we were turning the ball over at, I believe, about a 25% clip of our possessions. So we've worked hard to be better as a team, and I hope we can continue to build as we go on this last road trip of the season in preparation for the tournament next week.
Hey, Matt, one more question just for me. You've always said that team building is probably one of your favorite parts of the job, of putting a bunch of guys together, because each team is different each year. It doesn't matter. It's never the same. Can you speak a little bit to how this team has advanced in the midst of an incredible time that everybody's had to live through?
Well, Dave, it's been a challenging year, not just for Murray State, but for every program in the country. We've all faced different challenges. So I think having the limited summer, having no summer, and then the limited preseason has made it more challenging to build your team than in years past. As I mentioned earlier, we all know what the standard is here, coming off the 3 straight regular season titles and the winning that's been done here. But when you're sitting at 1-4 and you're not playing good basketball, you have a decision to make. Are you going to sit around and feel sorry for yourself and just, coast to the finish line, or are you going to try to build your team and regroup and make changes? And we've tried to do that to improve our team. We're not where we want to be, but I'm proud of the progress our players have made. We've been able to cut our turnovers down by a huge percentage. We've increased our assist total. I think we're actually like 11th or 12th in the country in assists now. We're playing a lot more unselfishly at the offensive end. We've really improved our chemistry there. But still a lot of work to go. But I think that's the thing. I mean, who am I as a person or as a coach if when you're 1-4, you don't enjoy the job anymore? or you don't put the same effort forth that you would when you're, 16-2 and playing for the regular season title. So that's how we've tried to approach it. Continue to get better as a team, continue to improve each individual on our team, and try to be playing better basketball in February and March. And that continues to be the goal for us as we go down the last 2 weeks of the season.
One last one to sneak in, and I'm sure I can guess your answer, but I always like to hear you say it. Is there any thoughts on the tournament bracket format changing, going from the double bye to just the old 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7?
I really hadn't looked at it, Jeff. I understand why the change was made, but I've always been a fan of the double bye, single bye format. I think the grind of a regular season in a normal year for us for our league is 9 straight weekends of Thursday, Saturday games. I think there should be a reward there for the teams that finish at the top. I understand why the change was made this year due to teams having unbalanced schedules and not getting all their games in and so forth. But I do like the emphasis on excellence sustained over a 9-week conference schedule being rewarded going into the tournament.
Now I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Hey,
thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
Dave, can I just chime in for one?
Oh, you sure
Oh,
can.
yeah, fire away. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's all good. So I know, Coach, that you had mentioned kind of one game at a time, but coaches always say you want to play your best basketball this time of year, still not knowing the status of the injury. But do you have to have that tournament mentality, though? I feel like you guys are playing really well right now, and I'm sure there are teams that probably won't want to face a hot team, and so positioning for seeding is a big deal, and it looks like you guys might be right there in the middle of the pack, but I feel like you're playing better than a middle of the pack team. So do you still have that mentality of tournament play? Because I feel like next week it's a whole new season for everybody.
No, that's right. That's the beauty of college basketball. At the end of the day, it becomes a tournament sport. So you want to be playing your best in March when you go to Evansville in our league. But for us, the goal has to still be to keep getting better as a team. And I think every team would say the same thing. You want to win as many games as you can. But for us, I think we've had a formula that's been successful in tournament basketball. I don't think it's any secret. You have to be able to defend. You have to rebound. You have to be able to execute at the offensive end of the floor, and you have to limit your mistakes. And so we'll continue to stay focused on getting better in those areas and take the challenge of Thursday's game on the road at Jacksonville State as the next opportunity to do so.
And then the last thing for me, I've always believed good tournament teams are teams that are able to win on the road, to be able to finish going into the tournament on the road. How important is it? Obviously, you want to win every game, but I feel like it says a lot for confidence-wise, but also who you are if you can finish strong on the road.
Well, we've always been a big believer in that as well. I think for us, you want to have positive momentum going into the tournament. I think we've won 5 of our last 6. We want to try to continue to build on that going into this final weekend. We know there are a lot of challenges that will be presented on Thursday with Jacksonville State and then Saturday at Tennessee Tech with their perimeter play, their ball screen offense, their ability to score in bunches with Junior Clay and Davidson and Franklin. So we'll continue to keep the focus on ourselves, trying to get better in all aspects as a team and try and build on some of the momentum that we've been able to create over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I think.